Only when he saw his 5-month pregnant wife firmly lying on the abortion table did the scumbag finally realize that his affair with the secretary had long been discovered by his wife. But even if he regretted it now, it was too late, because he no longer had the right to make decisions for the woman. 3 days ago, under the guidance of the scheming secretary, he had already signed the divorce agreement with his wife, and the report requiring a direct relative's signature for the abortion. And now the woman was finally free to leave the scumbag she had been in a relationship with for 7 years and married for 3 years. The woman also felt lucky that the fire 3 months ago had helped her uncover the scumbag's affair. It all started 3 months ago, when the woman was sleeping at home, and suddenly a fire broke out downstairs. As the flames spread toward her room, the smoke woke her up, and she immediately shouted her husband's name. But the man, who should have been in bed, rushed into the room in a panic. The woman's first glance revealed her disheveled husband covered in kiss marks, but there was no time for questioning. The scumbag immediately picked her up and moved her to a safe area. As he asked about her condition, the woman stared blankly at him, and then noticed everything about him. The scumbag quickly panicked and straightened his clothes. Just then, the secretary came out of the car and handed him a coat, claiming she was only there to report work. Before leaving, she intentionally flipped her hair to make the marks on her neck more obvious. In that moment, the woman's heart turned to stone. She couldn't understand how the boy who once fought bravely to protect her from bullies in high school had become this way, and how the man she once supported to start a business, even cutting ties with her family for him, was now betraying her in the car with another woman. In her despair, the woman called her mother overseas and agreed to her mother's long-standing request to immigrate abroad. Soon after, the scumbag took the woman to the hospital. The woman seriously asked him if he was hiding something from her, but the scumbag replied sincerely that his love for her had never been faithful. At that moment, his phone suddenly rang, and the caller ID showed it was the secretary. Seeing this, the scumbag became anxious, picked up the phone and hurriedly said he had to take a work call. Just as he left the ward, the secretary immediately pulled him into the next room, continuing the illicit affair they had started in the car. Meanwhile, in the next room, the woman calmly asked the doctor how she could terminate her 5-month pregnancy, but the doctor said she needed her husband's signature. After confirming the timing, the scumbag entered the room. After the doctor left, the woman and the scumbag returned home. At this point, the man casually talked to her about buying clothes for the baby, while the woman was thinking about how to trick him into signing the divorce agreement and abortion consent. Without realizing it, the scumbag noticed her strange behavior and assumed it was just the shock from the fire, so he went to take a shower, planning to comfort her. However, as soon as he left, his phone rang. The woman looked at the message from the secretary and tried to unlock the phone with her birthday. To her shock, she saw the heartbreaking scene. The DR necklace she had thought was a gift for her was now being worn by the scheming woman. The woman cried out in pain, realizing her husband had been with the secretary for over a year, and she was only discovering it now. Just then, the husband was about to return. The woman pretended everything was fine, closing her eyes. The next day, the woman woke up and took the prepared paperwork to the scumbag's company. She arranged for the secretary to come to see her under the guise of delivering milk to confront her, but the secretary beat her to it and directly told the woman that she was pregnant with the scumbag's child, provoking her by saying that the scumbag no longer loved her. The woman's heart turned to stone, and now she no longer had any illusions. She just wanted to terminate the pregnancy and live a quiet life. She handed the divorce agreement to the secretary. Seeing that the woman was so sensible, the secretary didn't make things difficult and took the divorce agreement straight to the scumbag's office. The scumbag, without even looking at it, signed the agreement happily. Little did he know, he would soon regret his actions. On the day the woman was going to terminate her pregnancy, the scumbag rushed to the hospital, ready to accompany her for the checkup.